two in row. And I was like, when she spoke to me about this, and I was like, didn't we just do this recently? And I had it in my notes. And yes, we had, it was just a year that went by in a flash. And just before we came live, we were all talking about what it is for, this corona to be here, to have gone by, for family members to be affected. And we're going to talk about all of these things, some inspiring stories in this next 90 minutes or so. Thank you once again for joining us. And if you're just joining us, a very warm welcome and a very, very happy new year to you. And there is a lot of questions, and there are a lot of goals, mission statements, vision statements for this year that we are going to talk about. But before we do that, we need to take few moments to express our gratefulness for the year that has gone by, or rather 2 years, which seem like a mix, right? 2020 and 2021. For me, I can't draw a line where 2020 ended, 2021 started, and now where 2022 is the beginning, right? So we will take a few minutes to close your eyes and take a deep breath, be grateful for the year that went by. I'll play some soft music and I'll stop talking. And we will just throw in some positive thoughts and be grateful for our family, for friends who are healthy and happy. So here it goes. Just take a moment, close your eyes. Please take a deep breath. Express your gratefulness for the year that went by, for being healthy, happy, and content. And rub your palms gently and put them on your face. One more time, rub your palms and put them on your face. And take your time to come back. So thank you very much for doing this with me. And I see all very relieved and happy faces. And if in the audience you were doing this with us, thank you very much. So before we start talking about new year, new goals, I want to express my gratitude to ECDF, the organization that it has been for last 3 to 4 years. It has given thousands and thousands of educators something to look forward to, the milestones to achieve, to spread the joy of creativity and talent that we have within us with the greater audience. So we will take a minute to go through what ECDF does for the audience who is joining us new, and how you can become a part of this cause. And no contribution is small. Of course, this requires one big contribution, is your time. So let's get started to see what ECDF does and what is it aspiring in the next quarter. All right, let me just go on to my first page. Sorry about that. I hope this is visible.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about ECDF. We have launched in 2018 under the initiative of D.N. Acharya Foundation for Children and Women Welfare, DNAF, which was incorporated in the year 2014. And the goal is primarily to make the lives better of children in marginalized sectors. Along with this, we also do a lot of programs which are training, awareness campaigns. We not only do this for educators, but we also do it for parents because, especially during the time of pandemic, they were stuck with children and, they needed some kind of help. So we did a lot of parenting awareness programs. We are doing leadership programs, community activities. And for more information, you can definitely go on to our website. Actually, recently there has been some very nice work done in Nigeria by our ECDF partners there. And that also you can look up on our Facebook pages. And yes, these are our focus areas, of course, children, facilitators, parents, and all the other stakeholders. And we also keep in mind that every educator needs some kind of reward. So we have a lot of award and reward programs. And we also have very meaningful conference where we get to hear global educators talk about the innovation in early childhood education and even for adolescents. And we were the first one to get our teenagers to speak about what they want to do and what difference they want to make in the society. And here are some of the numbers, and I somehow feel we have outreached more. So about 2,000 speakers in our global online conclave, and we had 5,000 attendees plus for our teacher training programs. And we have had ECDF worldwide with 25 globally acclaimed educationists. And as I said, we have done parent workshop, parenting summit, and we have had 1,000 plus parent attendees, Edu Intel, and then of course, a lot of global vendors, maybe 20,000 plus. I would say it is about 20,000, but yeah, 20,000 plus beneficiaries. And this is our quarterly magazine, and you're more than welcome to subscribe to it. It's ED Clan, and it has really meaningful articles and innovation shared by our fellow educators worldwide. And that's our core team, and we are always here to talk about challenging things that we can do or the innovation that we can bring to the early years. And this is just a small gist of whatever this slide could cover of what all successful webinars we have done. And this is making a difference on ground zero and going to these villages and making maybe small contribution, but that's where we have started and it's going good. And we plan to make it as a continuous activity, not just some ad hoc thing that we have just done one point in time. And this is how you can become a member. And for you, if any of you who are on this Zoom call or even you've joined us on Facebook Live, do write to us and we can send you more details of how you could become a lifetime member of ECDF. And last but not the least, these are the awards that we are looking forward to most: Social, Emotional and Experiential Learning Summit and Awards in March 2022. And we will be sending out more details. I'm sure we will have a couple of training programs in the month of February. And with this, here are the contact details for you to reach out to us. And I wish to thank Dr. Vasavi, as always, for the passion behind this and giving us this forum time and time again, keeping us excited, giving us this platform to share all these ideas that we have. Dr. Vasavi, a very warm welcome and few words from you.
Thank you, Simran. And I welcome everybody today to this New Year, New Goals. It's just New Year has unfolded, and I wish everyone a very happy New Year. And let's see what we have in our minds, what goals we have set for ourselves, and what's the way forward.
Okay, amazing. So, Dr. Vasavi, while I have you here, why don't you talk to us about your thoughts of the year gone by?
Thank you, Simran. The year that has gone by, 2021, was kind of a challenge for us after we emerged from 2022, because the second wave hit us really bad in India. And we really had some tough time dealing with the losses that we had as regards our family, as regards friends, and so many other things that came around at that time because of the pandemic situation. But as the year unfolded and as we reached towards the end of it, things started to brighten up. Schools started to reopen, and things became much easier for us. And we started kind of after 2020, 2021, we started accepting this way of life, and we are going ahead with it. Yes.
All right, great. So thank you, Dr. Vasavi. And we have an excellent panel today with us. We have Abigail, who's from joining us from Hong Kong. We have Amrit, who's joining us from Bombay. We have Mandy and Julie, who are joining us from UK. And we have Smriti joining us again from Bombay. And we have Shamila, who's joining us from Dubai. Right. So I will go to each one of you, and would you kindly introduce yourself, starting with Mandy and Julie. Over to you. A warm welcome and a happy new year again.
Hi there, thank you so much. So I'm going to introduce us. My name is Mandy and this is my partner Julie. And we set up our business Mini Minds Matters at the beginning of 2021 on the back of really the COVID pandemic. Our backgrounds, we came together, my background is in health. So I worked as a nurse, a children's nurse in the NHS for 26 years up until 2016. When I left to become like a self-employed mental health practitioner working with children and families. My passion is to work with children of all ages, but specifically now early years. And I have a real passion for working with disadvantaged children that have been through the care system. So adoption and fostering. I am an adoptive parent and foster carer as well. In my spare time, Julie is a qualified teacher and has again worked across all age groups. She's worked with teenagers, but for the past over 20 years now, she's run a really successful 2 nursery early years businesses where she employs over 50 members of staff and supports hundreds of children in the early years settings at the moment. And we're based in the Lancashire area of the United Kingdom, and we're really pleased to be here today.
Good morning.
All right, awesome. A warm welcome again, Mandy and Julie. I believe I have met Julie once before in one of the webinars. So pleasure meeting you, Julie, again. Abigail, kindly introduce yourself and a happy new year to you once again.
Hello, yes, happy new year, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, my name's Abigail. I'm living in Hong Kong, but I'm actually from the UK, from London. But I've lived here for a long time, 16 years, going on 17 years. But I've worked with children and families for much, much longer, for almost 25 years. So I was actually a child when I started. I was quite young. I was like 15, 16 when I first started working with young children. And it's just been my passion to, be a part of an influence to young children and their families. And when I came over to Hong Kong, I started to work in the kindergartens here. And in the last 8 to 10 years, maybe about 9 years now, I have been leading and managing various schools. But since the COVID-19 pandemic, I actually came out of the schools just before COVID. And that's when I started working directly with parents. And I think it was such a good thing to do because parents suddenly had a lot of things to do during COVID. So I now work as a parent coach and teacher trainer here in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Oh, you must have your hands full, Abigail, when you talk about being a parent coach. That's a new one. Amazing. Too good. Good to know that. All right, Shamila, would you kindly introduce yourself? And Happy New Year to you once again.
Hi, thank you. Happy New Year to you all too. I'm Shamila. I moved to Dubai about 21 years ago from the UK. Early years background again. I've been in early years teaching for a very long time, and about 16 years ago I came into management, so I started managing nurseries. In fact, I managed one nursery for just over 11 years before I went off for different adventures. I've just recently, well, about 6 months ago, came away from managing nurseries. I had like we call it a writer's break. So I wanted to write my very first children's book, which I am ready to launch this month, I hope, by the end of this month. So I've just been busy getting that together, working alongside a project manager and illustrators from all around the world. So it has been a really good experience for me. So now looking to go back into work as well. So I've always wanted to be an early childhood author for a children's book. So that was the dream come true for me this time. Through the pandemic, I think we've all kind of had different experiences. So for me, this was a really good experience, apart from the difficult times that we've had. through the 2.5 years or so, I've managed to kind of venture out into new adventures and learn different things and kind of come out of the box a little bit. So it was really good.
Awesome. Great to have you, Shamila.
Thank
And
you.
a warm welcome to Amrit. I have been forever thinking of attending one of your story sessions, but I promised to do that in 2022. And she's a master storyteller. You get mesmerized no matter what your age. Over to you, Amrit. Kindly introduce yourself and a happy new year to you.
Thank you so much. Those are really kind words. Happy New Year to everybody. My name is Amrit Nagpal. I'm predominantly an early years background. And something that I must tell you that many of y'all might not know, my actual passion comes because I've been born and raised in a joint family with grandparents and cousins. And that's where the passion for early years started. I'm the eldest in the family, so always got to train the younger ones. Earlier would dictate them, would try to do pretend play, being the educator. And then, when I was about 15, 16, I realized that this is what I want to become. This is what I want to do. So the passion for storytelling, the passion for story narration, and the passion for early years set the seed right into my childhood. And I currently work with Birla Open Minds. I work as a head of preschool, and we also have ECCED training programs for teachers pan-India, where I do a lot of teacher training. And like Simran mentioned, I'm very passionate about storytelling. I think that's a very important subject for young children. So thank you so much, and Happy New Year again to everybody.
Great, Amrit. Thank you so much. And I have ever smiling Smriti and ever helpful. I have reached out to her, just known her for a few days, and she went all out to help me. She promised me a deadline, which was like about 9 in the night, and I got all the information by 9 a.m. So that's our wow girl there. Welcome, Smriti, and kindly introduce yourself, and a Happy New Year to you once again.
Thank you so much, Simran. Those were the kindest words to introduce somebody. Now I don't.
Smriti, we can't hear you well. Smriti, we can't hear you well. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, this is much better.
Right. Earphones don't work. All right. So I don't know whether I should be talking about myself after what Simran told about me. So first of all, a very happy new year to everyone here who's here on Zoom, on Facebook Live. Doc, hi, happy new year to you, Dr. Wasabi, Simran, everybody. So that's one thing. I really hope that 2022 is much better than 2020 and 2021. Let's look forward to that. About myself, I'm Smriti Agarwal, and I have been an early childhood educator for the past 26 years now. And I started off as an assistant teacher, assisting the mother teacher in a nursery. And from there, I went on climbing the ladder and now leading the schools, being in the head positions, managing nurseries. So been there, done it all. After that, right, just before the pandemic, like some of my colleagues and friends here, I moved out of a nursery, managing a nursery, and I stepped into the zone of curriculum designing and curating curriculum and leading a team. And a team of very well-versed content developers and curriculum makers. So I'm leading the team right now for the Ampersand Group here in Mumbai, who basically run a chain of schools, both preschool and K-12. That is Vibgyor Group of Schools. And they do a lot of philanthropy, and they do a lot of work for the underprivileged children also. So we make different kind of curriculum, like one for all the segments in the society, for all the children. We want to reach out to all the children. Pandemic gave us the opportunity and the window to actually reach out to a lot of people through technology and being online. So we went online, and then it was like there's no end to it. And that was one of the very positive points that the pandemic had for us, that we could reach every nook and corner of the country and internationally to reach out to as many children as possible. So storytelling, of course, has been a passion. And like Amrit said, very close to that, I have been the eldest in my family, and I've been having hordes of children around me whom I have not been bullying and not been dictating, but I've always been devising new games and new stories with them. And because you would get bored very easily, so I will always, use some kind of creativity to make out new games and stuff like that for them. And that is how ECE happened, of course. So managing children have been a forte, and I can relate to each child on a one-to-one basis. So that was one thing. For the last year, if you ask me what went by, the positive thing was that, like Shamila, I took into writing. So I was always writing a diary as a journal, like as a child in my childhood. But now I'm writing stories for a publishing house called Impishlas, and where in the anthologies, in the past year, I've written like 27 stories, out of which 12 have published, and more are on the way. Books are available on Amazon for everyone to get a handful of it. So that way, 2021 has not been as bad. And thankfully, thank God, I've been safe and not been hit by COVID. So that's one good, very positive thing. Wishing the safest to 2022 for all of you.
Thank you so much, Smriti.
Thank you.
And I was anyway going to start the first question with you, but you being the proactive you already took that question. So thank you very much, and a warm welcome once again, Smriti.
Thank you so much.
And for me, when I said it is 2022, I'm usually very calculative and, giving that positive thing to that. But I said to myself, this is going to be the best year ever. I'm like not giving any room to any apprehensions or any anxiety. This is going to be like the rocky year ever. So that is the note I started on. And I think, as Smriti rightly said, I'm very grateful for 2020 and 2021. For me, it blends into one whole thing. It was not for Corona. I think for me, at least, I wouldn't be here. And so many blessings to you, Dr. Vasavi, for bringing us out there, out of our closets, being here. And, we are sharing so many things. Look at these budding authors and all these new projects that Mindy and Julie are doing, and we're sharing on this platform. So thanks to you once again. So now my first question starts with Mindy and Julie. Talk to us about the year that has gone by. What do you feel? What are your thoughts?
Hi. Well, my thoughts on education really was to focus really on children's emotional well-being. That's what I think is essential now. We've gone through so much, and I think we really need to go back and look at where these children have been and how we can support them more. We want to be able to provide them with a toolkit for life, so we can start them from a very, very early age. We start mindfulness from babies, and we believe that, starting as soon as possible is absolutely essential, so that hopefully when these children grow up into teenagers, they're going to be equipped with the right toolkit to be able to help themselves and even help the friends. So absolutely.
Yeah, so our three greatest learnings for 2021, like Julie said, you're never too young. So our programme, Mini Minds Matters, that we started at the beginning of last year, is looking at mindfulness and growth mindset within preschool settings. And our main programme really is aimed at preschool age children, but we wanted to take it into Julie's setting and really embed that from babies. So I've gone in and worked with the nursery staff and the babies. And what we're saying is basically when you're born, obviously your brain is half developed. So that first year of life is so important. And there's so many obviously connections and synapses and neurons that are being built. And if we can bring mindfulness into their everyday life, we call it mini mindful moments, because again, it's a daily practice. So an example of that for us, I talked to all of the nursery nurses just about if we're looking at babies, how do you bring mindfulness into babies? How can you embed that and change their brain? So we talked about just when you're doing nappy changing, obviously that's a regular event, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day when they're in the preschool setting. And so I talked to the nursery nurses just about the power of touch. So you're doing the procedure, you're changing the nappy, but then I talked to them just about stroking down the body of the baby. So just start maybe from the head all the way down their arms, down their body, down their legs, and then just ending with their feet with a very small massage. We're talking 30 seconds. So they've done the nappy change, and then we're just going to stroke down the body like this for 30 seconds. And then we're going to say, we're going to smile, we're going to make eye contact with the baby, and we're going to say something like, "You are amazing. You are beautiful. What a wonderful baby you are. that is mindfulness, and we're bringing that into our practice. So that was one of the things that we wanted to spread in 2021. And then,
yeah, sort of by taking those sort of slow steps actually builds those neural pathways ready for the next development. And I think showing our staff how to be with children, that it isn't just about doing a nappy and moving them on, actually taking that time to build those bonds with children through touch when children do go into crisis, or which they are going to have, because anxiety doesn't disappear, they are able to self-regulate better. And that's really where Mini Minds came in, to support them really from babies through to toddlers, through to preschool. And we have been really successful in getting a number of children, a number of nurseries signed up now who followed what we're doing. And it's having a really, really good impact in their settings. And hopefully we'll have some case studies to show that in the future.
So our very last thing on this question was just to say that the power of mindfulness, obviously we talk about the mind, that is kind of what our project is about. But what we've noticed is that obviously massively impacts on the physical body. Obviously from my nursing background, you know, so if we're happy and we have that positive mindset, and this links to the parents, to the carers, to the staff within our settings, having that positive growth mindset, they're less likely to become unwell physically. And obviously that's a massive thing in the COVID pandemic, and that really impacted on your staff and children, and not having physical illnesses because we've been helping and supporting them with mindfulness. So those are our 3 learnings for 2021. Thank you.
Superb. And your learnings become our takeaways. And I'm sure there are so many in the audience who are appreciating even this small part that goes a long way in how we are communicating the vibes in terms of mindfulness. So well said. And for the audience who's joining us here, I see a lot of known names. Thank you very much for joining here and on the Facebook. I move to Abigail. Abigail, talk to us about your year gone by and some of the learnings that you would have got from 2021.
Yes, thank you. It's kind of related. And I think I've talked to a lot of people about how our own social and emotional development as well is very important. Our own social emotional well-being is very important. And I think 2021 and 2020 kind of taught me, and I know a lot of other people, that we need to slow down a little bit. Hong Kong is a very fast-paced city. And I know London is as well, but I actually grew up in a little slower paced place in England. I'm coming to Hong Kong and you're kind of always on the go, and children are too. And children are often ferried from activity to tutoring center to play group to preschool to their family, you know, so they don't have a lot of downtime. And when I work with parents, I work on this quite a lot with them, because they get kind of caught up in that. And so in Hong Kong, 2021, the first half of the year was still a little bit hit and miss whether the children would go into schools and kindergartens. But as we started the new term in September, everyone was back. So I feel like it has felt like people kind of slowly moved back into that because we've been very, you know, quite lucky with the low numbers of COVID cases. So people are a little bit more like, let's do everything. So when I work with parents, I do remind them that, you know, remember what it was like when we could have time to go out into nature, enjoy being outside, just running around and playing, and how much that really supported children, you know, when they were going through those changes and difficulties during COVID. And it's no different now. But you easily kind of forget it if you don't put that mindfulness as well back into it and remember it.
That's a good one. Yeah, whether it is online or whether they come to school, it is very important to give them that time to slow down. All right, have these moments of mindfulness and be there, because, you know, usually their mornings are so rushed. Yeah, because to get to them either on the online near the screen or whether to get them on school. But Abigail, I was a little inquisitive and wanted to ask you about this parent coaching thing. So do you find parents in Hong Kong more like open to approaching you to, ask for coaching? Because it's comes sometimes very cliche to say, I need help, I need coaching.
It's not as they're not as forthcoming as maybe I would like, actually. But what I've been doing is working in schools and going in and working with the educators there, and then getting to know families that way. Because in Hong Kong, education is huge. It's like as soon as they're 2 years old, they go to school. So what we wanted to do, and I've got a huge group of, similarly now I have people across the world, all of you guys here, but we have a really strong network in Hong Kong. So most of especially the international section schools, most educators know other educators, and then we are building this kind of thing together where those of us who are coaching parents will come into the schools, and that's the best way, because parents are more likely to go, oh, the school is suggesting, okay, educators, yeah, okay, and then they'll be like, okay, so I've building it that way. I started in 2021, so it's definitely still growing, but it's quite exciting to watch parents as they join, because really it's making a difference to them and their children.
Absolutely. And you couldn't have started at a better time, when parents and children all over inside an apartment just crammed up together and saying, hey, you know what, we just need to be together. So
Exactly.
2021 was the best time to start parent coaching. Amazing. Sharmila, I come to you, and I'm sure you have a lot to tell us about your greatest learnings of the year gone by.
Yeah, sure. To be honest, I think we were speaking earlier about actually understanding what families are going through when they're going through the COVID situation. And throughout the time that we've had, I hadn't been there firsthand. I'm just coming out of isolation myself, so I understand the strains it has on families. And I think it's really important for all of us as early as leaders to understand that the families are going through strains sometimes that they're finding difficult to discuss. And I think it's important for us to be available, important for us to be approachable. And I think that's for something that all of us and all the early years educators and leaders I've spoken to have reflected on through this time. I think we were always approachable, and we were always put partnership with parents at the pedestal of everything that we do. But over the last 2 years, I think that has been highlighted even so much more, and that we know that it is a knock-on effect. So if we support those parents and understand what dilemmas they might be going through at home, we're able to then support the children, and vice versa. So we support the children. In fact, we're supporting the family life at home as well. So just coming back, the book that I've written is actually inspired. I'm not going to say so much. I'd love to share it with you all when it's ready. But it is an inspiration from a conversation I had with a parent who was actually finding it difficult to manage her post-COVID situation at home. And that was an inspiration. And it's just lovely to look at the bookshelves now and look at the bookstores and Amazon again now to see everyone who's come together to kind of make it easier for families and make it easier for children, and have books that they can read together and share the experiences, because friends might have gone through something that they're aware of. A child will come and say, by the way, mummy, my friend's mum is stuck in a room. Like I've been isolating as I am now, and my son is 10. He wants to hug me. And I'm like, no, you can't. How do you get, even at 10, how do I get him to understand that he cannot hug me? And I think what we've done is an amazing job that we've done together, is we've actually made it easier for children, even preschool children, the younger ones, to understand that this is the process, this is what's happening, this virus is causing this situation, but it's okay. And I think that's a huge job that we have to make it okay, because I had him in tears at the top of the stairs saying, Mom, but I want to hug you. And I said, but Danny, you can't. But I think having books or having representations or having presentations and coaching sessions to bring that to a situation where parents can say, okay, this is how I can interact with my child, or child say, okay, it's fine because these are the reasons it's happening. And, I think we've come together, and I think more is to come to kind of come onto that platform to solve those situations that we're having to deal with.
Thank you, Shamila, for sharing that and giving forum to children to express different.
I can't hear you, Simon.
Can you hear me? Is it good? Yeah, Shamila, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Shamila. And I go to Amrit. Amrit, could you share your learning of the last year?
So 2020 was really tough on everybody. You know, we've had major lockdowns everywhere. And 2021, when we stepped into 2021, we thought things would be a little better. So my 2021 has gone like half work from home, half work from office, got to do a little bit of traveling when things were normalized and, you know, when there were less cases. There's one thing that 21 really taught me was that nurture yourself first. If I am able to nurture myself mentally, physically, emotionally, and my cup is fuller, I'm able to help somebody else. So the first half of 2021 was very frustrating because there were longer working hours. Parents and teachers would call any time of the day because, you know, when they had a problem or when they would get their time free out of their families and work schedule, they would call. And that would eat up a lot of my personal space. And that's when I realized that, no, that this cannot be done the right way, right? Because people look up to you for suggestions, for guidance, whether it's a parent, whether it's a child, whether it's another teacher. So that can only happen if I'm practicing mindfulness myself. And that's where I started getting into a little bit of meditation every day. And I made it mandatory for myself to get into meditation at least 5 minutes a day. I would start with 5 minutes a day only, and I'm still at 5 minutes a day only. And I think that itself is an achievement for me. So that really helped me overcome 2021. I started doing a little bit of yoga. Again, everything is 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes has come a long way in my life. And this 5 minutes of time for myself has helped me become a better person, a better listener to other people. And whether it's my teachers, my own parents, for sure, because I would never have time to sit and listen to them properly. So I think this has really helped. Nurturing yourself helps others nurture themselves, is how I would like to put it across.
This is amazing, Amrit. I'm such a 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Like, that is the commitment I can give. Like, I found this anti-gravity exercise. And the first thing I liked was it was only for 3 minutes. That's it. Twice a day, 3 minutes. And I said, yes, I can do that. You know,
great. Anything up to 5 minutes is something I can do. I don't have time beyond that. And 5 minutes is the commitment that I give myself every day. So 5 minutes meditation, 5 minutes something to do physically. Gone. That's it. That's it. And mindful eating. And mindful eating. So that's the little progress that 21 has given me, because the next half of the year went going back to your routine, back to your schedule. So again, it was a challenge because I didn't want to move out of work from home. I just loved working from home. And now moving back to office was itself a challenge because, you're back to your grind, and then you're like, oh my God, no, you suddenly love work from home. You love everything about home.
I know. I can totally relate to that. Like, if somebody would have told me in 2019 that you're going to work from home, I would like, you're kidding, you've gone like bonkers. And today, I love working from home. And then when I have to go out for meetings, I have to plan and I have to think that, can I postpone this meeting? I go, no, I have to step out. And look at smiling. I can see, Abigail is like, yeah, I can relate to that.
True, I can absolutely relate to that.
Sure, absolutely. Amazing. Okay, so I see mindfulness being a centerpiece coming out for learning and more of nurturing yourself and doing all these innovative things. So it pretty much has been a good 2021. And let's talk now in this whole situation where we are in today.
Simran, I have something more to say about 2021.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That was
Smriti.
just
Yes.
an introduction. You skipped my first question.
No, you already told me about your learning, so I thought, I'm sorry, Smriti. My apologies.
I have some
Okay.
takeaways from 2021. See, I interrupted you like a kid and said,
No
no, my
problem, I
turn,
love it.
teacher. So,
But you did
that
not
is-
raise your hand. You did not raise your hand.
I can. So that is,
Go
that's
ahead.
so sorry to interrupt you.
No
And
worries at all.
I was just kidding.
Sure.
The thing is that this is another thing that 2020 and 21 taught us was in online schooling when children used to feel neglected by the teacher if they didn't get a chance to speak. So when we talk about communication and collaboration in early childhood education, I think as educators, we were really mindful about that even if the teacher is on screen for the child, it's the teacher, and they look up to that and they want their me time. All right, so a couple of things very quickly, because I've already eaten up some time and Simran is like not very happy with me. So the
I'm
thing
very
is,
happy with you, Smriti. Especially
thing
you
is-
only give me my time back. I love it.
all right, so the couple of things that I would want to say was that 2021 taught me that the most important thing in our lives right now is collaboration. The more community we have around us, the more collaboration we have around us, we can tide through difficult times. And like right from the very beginning, Simran is mentioning, we have ECDF and Dr. Vasi Acharya a lot to thank about, because she gave us that platform, she gave us that medium to actually reach out to a lot of people, and she was there for all of us, to be there, to build up this community of educators. So that was one thing. Another thing I gained was the lifetime membership of ECDF. The second thing I gained was that I became the associate editor for the ED Clan Educational Journal magazine of ECDF. Yeah, so, and I'm writing there. So that was one thing. Writings I've already told you about. Secondly, when I stepped out of managing a nursery and went into the curriculum field, I realized how much of a curriculum for social emotional development and approaches to learning is missing from early childhood education. We always talk about it, but when we sit down to actually jot down that we have to have a plan for the same, we really do not have a curriculum for the same, and which is hurting. So as a curriculum curator, I would really advise all the educators that we've talked about this mindfulness and for social emotional development of the children to be given a lot of importance. Please make sure that you have a set plans, you have it, make it as a part of your school curriculums, and you make it as a part of your daily plannings, like Mini Minds is doing. And I see Mandy and Julie nodding and saying, yes, yeah, please make it a part of your plan. Literacy, foundational literacy, numeracy, everything is good, but they can just come as and when, and it is something that's incidental. We really need to work on social emotional development, mindfulness of the children, and the well-being of children. We take it completely in the opposite sense. We say social, emotional, and personal development, PSED, is something that can happen incidentally, and we need to focus on foundational literacies. Please totally reverse it, give it a 360-degree turn, focus on social well-being, on the mental health of the children, on their approaches to learning, on the 21st century skills, on the communication and collaboration. Literacies will happen naturally. Children are natural learners. So this is something that I really want to say, that if we can all focus on 2022 on the social and mindfulness of children, the social and emotional well-being and mindfulness of children, we would have arrived. Because as Barack Obama also said, the best investment in a child's life that we can do is in the early years education. Yeah, so go for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Smriti. And I kind of agree with you. I resonate your thoughts. I use that in my workshops a lot, that children are going to learn the shapes and the colors of the world. They, in fact, know better than us. Yeah, what is needed is to make them sense what is empathy, what is gratitude, what is mindfulness, yeah, and nurture them, because that's what we can do the best in early years. All right, thanks. With that, I will go to Dr. Vasavi, and we will go to the next segment of this evening, and we will talk about this whole flux that we are in. And we thought everything was going okay. And I so resonate with Amrit saying I was traveling again, we were going out, and we were getting with okay with this whole new going back to the routine. And here again, we have Omicron, and then we have all of these combination flus, and there maybe not a immediate lockdown, but there will be curbs. The schools had opened, now they're shut. So what are our goals, the real doable goals as an educator? And I will start with Dr. Vasavi.
Yes, Imran. So, the last question was all related to the learnings of 2021. And this is what we are going to continue even in 2022, because now we are again in a situation where, we do not know what is going to unfold, right? So we have our list of goals, we have our list of to-dos, we have all of those with us lined up, but then things are never predictable. So we need to be resilient. We need to understand what is the right time to do what. So we need to wait and watch and do our stuff as it unfolds, as the time comes up, and as we are ready to do that. So I feel that 2022, with the Omicron virus already on its way, the lockdowns have started. Not yet though in the northeast part of India, but then in many other metros, it's already started. So we have to have our goals. I think I am a very spiritual person. I believe in karma. So we need to do what we need to do. As an early childhood educator, we need to keep nurturing the students. We need to keep nurturing the children. And that we do it online or offline, we need to be completely dedicated. We have to be sincere. We have to train our educators again to reach out, because, the children started coming to school. Now they might be again locked up at home. So we need to again motivate. We need to reorient our educators to reach out to them. And again, like Smriti said, Mini-Minds, Julie and Mandy says, the socio-emotional learning is a huge area we need to really work on. And I feel that again this year, we have to keep our goals aligned to what is necessary for the children, what is actually important for them, and move ahead with it. So this year, I think there are a lot of things we planned, but we are ready to now take on as it comes. I mean, things don't go as planned. We need to be acting as and when and how it is required. Right.
Yeah, sounds good. It's like more like you're saying, Doc, take it one day at a time and keep the focus on the early years and do the best for them, whether we are doing it online or in person, or as the time keeps changing. Yeah. So that's a good and a pretty simple goal to keep. I move to Team Mini-Minds. What are your goals given the flux of the situation that we are in?
Yeah, obviously this time last year, we'd literally just kind of come together. And even though 2021 has been so difficult, we've really kind of, got this ball rolling, which we're really excited about. And obviously there's just the two of us. So our vision is to have Mini-Minds partners. So that is obviously other early years providers, other professionals working with early years, working with us and implementing and embedding the Mini-Minds approach. So our vision is to have 60 new partners this year. So that's a goal of 5 a month. And we're on track, hopefully, for that. So that is about, being able to work with us. We will support those settings, those people, to be able to use the Mini-Minds approach of mindfulness and growth mindset, those mini mindful moments every day with the children. So that is our first goal.
Not just in the UK, though. We want to be overseas.
Yes, so international, we're working with you guys. We've sent our pack off to America. So we're really excited about collaborating. That is with a lady who runs a charity for women who have fled domestic abuse. And then we want to, like one of the other ladies was saying, we want to carry on publishing some books. We've written 2 children's books last year around mindfulness, growth mindset, that can be read with families at home, and just talks about is enabling those children to understand what mindfulness is through poetry, and just bringing mini mindful moments into our day. And then Julie's just got a couple more things.
Yeah, to use our skills and knowledge to effect change in the way mental health is perceived and treated, because I think that's huge. If someone has a plaster on, we ask, how are you feeling? But yet nobody can see what's inside our heads and how we are feeling. And I think we need to be more aware of that. to be able to give back to the community by partnering with charities and businesses and business owners to enable Mini Minds to grow even further and be able to access even more children. We've been really fortunate that we've been approached by local business to ask to sponsor nurseries and schools to be able to implement our approach, and that's been amazing. So we want to continue to grow that.
So thank you. That's our 4 goals for this year.
Sounds good, and wishing you all the best. May you achieve not only 60, but more than 60. And I'm sure that there will be so many of them who would be resonating with your idea, given the time that we are in, whether it is parents or teachers or caring nurses, as you said, who would want to, make a difference, to say to that little child that you are the best, and it starts from there. That's where the vocabulary changes. That's where the whole meaning changes. So wishing you all the best. I move to Abigail. Abigail, what are your goals for this year?
Yeah, thank you. Well, just as you're all talking, I'm thinking about how well connected we are, not just through Zoom, but through the way that we think as educators. Because so I have a few goals, but I think just as to kind of give you some examples of these, I have also been writing children's stories. I was just telling Shamila about that as well. And I hear that you're writing books for children, and I think, is it something that us early educators love to do, is to tell stories? And I think I have been working on one. It's actually finished and it's been illustrated, but I've got a second one, and the aim is to build a curriculum around it for home learning and potentially in schools, but my focus is for parents to be able to use it. And it's based around using nature and things like that. So I really want to focus on that. And I think, just as some of you were just saying, is to work more around the world because of these connections we've made. I don't know, I've met so many people from India, from America, from Africa, from the UK, from other places in China. And it's just been, I don't know, a way of reaching out and reaching more people. I think that's one of my goals, big goals. But
that's
fun.
a good one, reaching out and spreading that word to the people that you're connected with and making the use of those connections, because I feel we have made so many connections, not only with the ECDF forum and then beyond also, and have we actually reached out to them, because we have that potentials as educators to make that difference and say, hey, you know what? And I was talking to Dr. Catherine, who's not there today in this group, and we were saying that in one of the webinars, and we were talking before we were going live, and we said, my God, we have so many things that we have done differently. And we want to share. And at that point in time, we told Dr. Vasavi that even before we go live now, can you arrange for one more webinar where we can talk about all the things that are working for us? Because you know what, that is something that we can share with other educators, and that could be their classroom idea. Yeah, so yes, Abigail, that's a good one. And all the best for that. Shamila, over to you.
Hi again. Yeah, I've just been thinking about all the goals that I might have for the coming year. I think the last 2 years has been a time where we've sat down and reflected on a lot of our practices, and what used to seem like a daily routine now seems like much more than that. So there's so much more that we can offer being in the early years. What I would really like to see is open forums like this where parents can come on and discuss situations that they're finding difficult to manage. And being able to come on with people like yourselves and giving as much information as we can to make that situation easier for them. Any situation that they might be going through, whether it could be pandemic, it could be just early years itself. So I think creating some kind of open forum like this for parents to come on to, I think would be really, really good for them. It'd be good for us to get to know a little bit more from their side. We may be parents ourselves, but sometimes it's nice to listen to people and kind of understand what they might be going through, and it kind of gives us a vision moving forward as to what we can do to cater for them. And I think the same thing I would like for our staff, our teacher assistants, our teachers, our fellow managers, our admin staff, because we've classified them, as I've just done, under those headings. And in fact, they might have situations that they're having to deal with at home, primarily their own home, or even back in their home country, with friends, with relatives, with family. And I think sometimes in the midst of our rushing, trying to handle the COVID situation, like, we kind of miss out on that connection point where we, maybe need to have those times where we sit down, share a box of chocolates, a little coffee, and say, guys, how's things with you? Because they're busy trying to make things okay for us. We're busy trying to make things okay for them and the families that we're looking after. Yet sometimes we kind of forget that they might be going through situations as well. So that was something, I think, open forums for staff, open forum for parents, and then obviously, yes, with the new journey that I have with these children books. And you're right, Abigail, it's something that we love to do. It's something that all of us have always loved to do. We love to read to children. There's so many stories that we want to be able to kind of present to them and bring to life. And I think it's such an exciting journey, just having the manuscript there and then bringing it to life through the illustrator, and thinking, I get excited every time I've read it, and I'm dying to send it across to the printer now, and get that journey on. So I think when we all come together to do things like this, and we know that we're kind of aiming towards a similar goal or a shared goal, it just makes it all much more exciting. And then sharing it with you guys here. And then we've got this new project going on with the book with ECDF. So that's something that we're really looking forward to. I have to mention, I think that it's going to be an amazing collaboration with, I don't know how many of us are coming together on one forum.
Oh my God,
I know, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it.
I know, we all have come together. Again, you have some magic wand, Dr. Vasavi, and I can go on praising you, and every word would be authentic out there. And you know what, we're just so lucky to be here, and we are all collaborating together to publish this book together. And that's one thing that she's still keeping under wraps. I hope we did not do something naughty by disclosing it. But yeah, we're very, very excited to write our chapters. Yeah. So that's going to be pretty amazing. Yeah, Shamila.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. That's me.
Thank you. And I have Smriti, I remember you, and Amrit. Smriti, you go first and tell us about your New Year goals.
That's the teacher treating the naughty child in school, that you first go first, and then first I'll deal with you, we'll then deal with the rest later. So all right, so my goals here are very, very, very simple. The first and foremost is that I would like to remind everybody, and I keep reminding everybody, that we always worry about what our children are going to do tomorrow, become tomorrow, what jobs would they do, what kind of people they would become. And but we forget that there's something today, there's somebody today, and that somebody today really, really needs our attention. So when we thought about the pandemic also in the years gone by, we were all locked up in our homes, and there was a lot of time. All the parents who were cribbing that we never spent time with our children, and all the children who had the complaints that my parents never spent some time with me, got to spend lots and lots and lots of time together. But again, like Abigail is a parenting coach, and we, all of us educators here, know that instead of the quantity, the quality matters. So my first and foremost goal is to request the parents that you please spend some quality time with your children. Be mindful about what you are doing, how you're managing your emotions, because each and everything the child is imbibing subconsciously from the environment, from you and your role models. So that would be my reminding goals to everybody. The second thing would be to make education online or offline fun for children, because there are a huge generation of children who do not know what a school is all about. They only know the school through screen, and they only think that this is what school is all about, and the teacher comes on screen, and they have never been to a real school. All the ones, little tiny ones, like Abigail mentioned, in Hong Kong, here in India also, we start schooling right from the play school years. That is like between 18 months to 24 months, the child is already in school. And at that time, all the children until 2020 who were supposed to start school could not do so. And now 2 years have gone by. So their preschool and their nursery, both years have gone by, and they are like directly into kindergarten now. We are expecting the schools to open, and we want them to open up. But let's be very mindful. The second goal is that I should be requesting all educators, all teachers, all schools owners and stakeholders that make it so welcoming for those children that who've never been to school. So when they come to school, it's safe for them, it's enjoyable for them, it's joyful for them, and they'll fall in love with the school, the physical school, and not the online one. And another thing that I would like to say, the goal for myself that I have set is, of course, like I already mentioned, to build up a huge collaboration and community amongst educators with parents, so that we're there to support each other. And not only just meeting on forums like these, but be there really and actually for each other, so that we know that when we share our experiences, we learn from each other. So learning should never stop, and we should go on. And the best part is, if we share knowledge, we gain knowledge. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And that's a cue for Dr. Vasavi to give us more webinars where we can have just a learning and sharing and caring, the new term of the webinar, where we can talk about what has worked for us and what could work for others also. Thank you, Smriti, on this. And Amrit, last but not the least, your New Year goals for us.
Thank you. New Year goals, there are lots of goals, but I will touch up only on few because we'll run out of time. So very quickly, personal goals. Nurturing self, I've already mentioned that. Nurturing myself physically, emotionally, mentally, for sure. Once I nurture myself, I'm able to nurture others. Goals for parents, very similar. Parents, teachers, you're dealing with a large community of children, young children. They need your attention all the time. They want your love and support. And the only way to love and support them is by listening to them and giving them the attention. So even if you give them the right kind of attention, they're pretty happy at the end of the day. Nurture yourself, again, very important for them. Parents and teachers out there, don't forget to nurture yourself. Don't forget to sip that one hot cup of tea, coffee, soup, whatever you like, in peace by yourself, because you've achieved that one task in the day. You can take on the day like you'll have some kind of a superpower to take on your day. Well, professionally, looking forward to the writing. I'm not going to disclose it any further right now. So these are my very quickly few goals right here. And let's see, hoping, keeping my fingers crossed that the cases come down and schools get to open in their new academic year, and encouraging everybody to take the new vitamin, that is vitamin G. That is your vitamin Go Green. The nature is your biggest vitamin. So please ensure you're, along with all your vitamin C's that are recommended by the doctor, please don't forget to take your vitamin G. Go out in the nature. If you have a small terrace garden, your building has a small garden for children, just ensure that you're taking in fresh air. Go around for a morning walk with your mask on, and just take on the world day by day. So thank you. That's just my few goals here and there for parents, educators, and for myself.
Thank you, Amrit. I think vitamin G, we will remember it very nicely. Something that will stick with us.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Now that we have talked about all these goals, and I was talking to Dr. Vasavi that this time let's do things differently and also talk about how we are actually going to remember that we had talked about these goals at the start of the year. And I have been reading a lot lately, especially on Instagram, about these vision walls. All right. And me and Doctor were talking about these vision walls just before we were going to go live. And for the audience who don't know much about how to create a vision wall, I show you a quick glimpse of how does it look. And Good Morning America had a very nice YouTube video for the ones who want to learn. Okay. I hope this is visible. Is this visible? Yeah. So this is the YouTube video that you can do it yourself, vision board panel. And it could probably look something like that. Something that you are aspiring to be, aspiring to do a trip, your quotes, whatever makes you go, where you see it every morning, every night, and that's your vision wall right there. And this was a very nice, quick video of how to make your vision board, and this is by Good Morning America, how to make a DIY vision board wall panel. So This is the last segment, and I will go to each one of you. A quote or inspiration statement that will be on your vision wall this year to inspire you and to tell you that you had started your year with all of these aspirations. And you kind of, look it up and say, yes, I'm going on the right track. So Team Mini Minds, do you want to share your quote or whatever you will be having on your vision board?
Yes, we'd love to say that remember that you are the change in your life. You can do anything you set your mind to. Get in the right frame of mind, go and set those goals and attack the week. Be proactive, take charge, and remember you are amazing.
That is actually fantastic. Imagine seeing that on your vision wall day, night, and it is right there out in front of you. And I would love to see some pictures of you guys. That's a good one. I read a very nice quote, and I can't remember the lines clearly, but it said that you will not always get the closures that you want, or the kind of a conclusion that you were looking from anything. But that's okay. That's all in the past, and that here is the new beginning and the best is yet to come. So, we see all these lovely things and we read them, and it kind of affects us for a few minutes, and then we forget about that. So I think this is the right time to start your vision board. All right. So I think that was from Team Mini Minds. And Abigail, what about you?
Well, going with the theme, kind of a lot of us have been talking about, is going into nature. And I think when I read this quote, I just feel like I do it every single time I go out and look at a tree, even if it's just a tree right by the road. But being in the trees is even better. But this quote says, look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. And I really think children can also learn that from that too.
That's amazing one, Abigail. Thank you very much for sharing with us. Amrit, would you want to go next?
Yes, thank you. I really like the vision board idea that you shared. It was very apt. I have a similar vision board at home, and my vision board has 4 particular pictures. I would just like to tell you about those. I have one picture where I have a body nurturing herself. So I have an image of a girl whose head is cut open here, and there's a watering can, and she's nurturing herself. So I visualize that to be me. I have one vision board where I have a picture of a girl, and there are these different parts of the world, because I do wish to travel in the upcoming years. COVID, no COVID, I'm so looking forward for a lot of travel. And another quote that I have on my wall is that be the change you wish the world to be. So change yourself first. You want to change your child. Are you accepting that change? Are you preaching that change, or are you the change? So let's think about it before we start preaching people. If you want somebody to do something, whether it's your child, your teachers, your parents, let's be that change first. And the fourth one, the last one that I have is always take the world with a smile. So that's me. Over to you, Simran. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amrit. And Shamila, what about you?
Yeah, it's just, I have a couple of quotes. So I love LinkedIn. So as I scroll through, there's always something that stands out to me. There was a quote that I've actually reposted on my page, and it goes like, and suddenly you just know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of new beginnings. I actually love it because I don't know if you can see, it's so bright. And it kind of stood up to me straight away. So it was like and then the next one is something that I can give a quick glimpse as what's on the back of my books. There's a quote that I put together. And this for me was something that I had posted up on my walls, my vision board. And the fact that I came out of my box and tried something new. So it says, when a child opens a book, they are entering a world of dreams and imagination. This is a feeling that creates magical memories. It's amazing to know that I can be responsible for such memories. So that's my quote that I put together, and it's going to be at the back of all my books. And it's just something that keeps me going, knowing that I'm going to be able to have some kind of effect on the readers or the storytellers So those are the two quotes that have kind of stood out to me.
Amazing one. Thank you very much for sharing with us, Shamila. Dr. Vasavi, what about you?
Lovely quotes from everyone, and really inspiring. I mean, yeah, I should be taking a few and also putting down on my wall. Yes, I believe that, I feel that we need to live in the present. Don't think about the past. Don't dwell on the past. Don't worry about the future, but be in the present, be in the moment, and make the best of it. I feel make the best of the moment, because you never know what is going to be the next moment, So being in the present and being in the moment is my goal. And this is my vision, for the coming days and the coming years, because I want to live every day, and each day should be memorable and beautiful. And that is how I want to, weave the year ahead.
Super. And I look forward to our discussions on making vision walls together. Thank you very much, Dr. Vasavi. And last but not the least, Smriti.
All right. So my visions, personally for myself, my goals are what Simi started off with, that I really want to be helpful, and I want to be the sunshine for everyone, whoever I meet. I feel that, if I can give them a nice big smile and makes their day, it works for me as well. So that's one was the personal ones, and which goes on. So no matter what the circumstances are, taking forward from what Dr. Vasavi said, that live in the moment, and live in the moment with a big smile. So that one thing. For otherwise, for life, I always have these two quotes, three in fact, with me, and I shall like to share it with all of you here. One is from the philosophers that I really admire. One is from Maria Montessori, who says that the goal of early childhood education should be to activate the child's own natural desire to learn. So that's one thing which I really relate to. The second one is by John Dewey, who says education is not a preparation for life, but education is life itself. So those are the two quotes that keep me going. And one which you would always find at the end of my emails and everything is that the one who dares to teach must never cease to learn. So education is a never-ending process. So let's go on. Thank you so much.
All right, great. And I hope we connect back in some months to talk where we are with our vision wall. What have we done in the next 3 months? And what can we learn? Yeah, rather than waiting for a year gone by. I want to take this moment to thank everyone for being here and spending their time with us. I hope it was worth your time, and we gave away small of our inputs from our daily life as educators, and made a difference and give you some tips that might work for you. So thank you very much. And this is a wrap from all of us here at ECDF. I think.
Excuse me, Simran, once more. No, you didn't share your goal.
I did. I just talked about I didn't. I was so busy in thinking.
I know you were hearing all of us speak. I didn't hear yours.
I don't know. I think for me this year is to kind of get through. You are one naughty child.
Sorry. So Dr. Vasavi is going to give me a call after this, and she's going to say you extended my webinar. I don't like you, but it's okay.
I love it. I love it that you're co-hosting with me, Smriti, and that's an honor. And I see Team Mini Minds going, yay, perfect.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I think for me, the goal is that I want to do the best that I can. And I am on my way to complete my doctorate. If I can do at least 50% of that in my 2022, I will be really grateful and make a difference. I think, make a difference with my whatever few thoughts that I have. And if I can make a difference with people I work with, that would be my goal. Let me revisit this in 3 months and see where I am. All right, great. Can I wrap now, Smriti?
Yeah, please go ahead. Sure.
Okay, all right. This was a good session. And Dr. Vasavi needs to bring us back with Dr. Catherine and Dr. Sue joining us. And we can talk more about first quarter, yeah, and not wait for the whole year. And we can talk about our vision walls. Maybe by
Right.
next 3 months, we all would have made our vision walls. And let's take nice pictures of it and share it. Oh, she's showing us. Oh my God. Look at
Oh, that's lovely.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Too good. Look, wow. Yeah, well, we need to get started. You
Well,
guys
pop
are
it on
much
the
ahead
group.
of us.
I'll
Pop
put
it on the-
mine. I'll put mine on the group as well. We'll
So everyone
share.
could see. and-
Awesome. Awesome.
Our
So we
idea
need to
to
all
have.
work on it and come back in 3 months, hopefully, and look at where we have come. All right. So that's a wrap. And good evening, good afternoon, and good day to all of you. We will see you soon. Much love and Happy New Year again from ECDF. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. See you again. Bye.
Bye.